We're disappointed in the outcome. Proud of the kids for battling back both halves. Lesser charactered team, I don't think would have. We were physically. I think physically they bothered us. Their athleticism and their length bothered us, and as a result, we got dominated on the boards, which made it really difficult for us to, win the basketball game. But proud of kids that the bench played really well and gave us a real chance, which you have to do in tournament play to get great numbers from your bench like that. Could have put us in position to, be okay, get that win, and be okay for the next night. So. That's it.
All right, if you have a question for either of the student athletes, if you'll raise your hand and we'll get one of the remote mics to you. Let's start on the far left.
Question for KD. How good does it feel, even in the loss, to kind of come back and bounce back this year in the SEC tournament and play so well tonight?
It felt good, for myself, but on the team standpoint, I really wanted to get this win because I lost last year in the same way. So, I wanted to get further this year, and that was my mission, and I failed. So, we just on to the next.
Is there a question on the far right? Yeah, go ahead.
Coach Pearl, I'm just curious.
This question is just for the student athletes right now.
Okay, I have one as well. Wendell, just what was the key there, I guess, at the beginning of the second half there when Arkansas kind of came out and started on that 7-0 run? What didn't go well for you guys as a team?
I think they was just beating us in the ball screen and our ball screen defense and just out-rebounding us. They beat us the beginning of the first half and beginning of the second half. I think that's kind of where we lost the game. So I think just the offensive rebounding and our ball screen defense.
Other questions for either of the student athletes? Raise your hand. Let's go to the center aisle.
When do you feel like you guys just didn't have enough energy kind of to start off those halves, and what was kind of the difference for y'all to pick it up and make that comeback there in the second half?
Yeah, I think our energy was low. I think to start the game off, I think, that's the main thing. Our energy was low beginning of the halves.
All right, let's go to the third row, right side. There you go.
Yeah, for Katie, what did you guys do well to make the comeback from 15 points down?
Basically just get more physical, and be the ones that hit first in the second half and just play with a little more energy. We came out a little sluggish, so, we needed to get that part up and start hitting shots, and we made shots, but, we just came out down in the end.
Raise your hand if you have other questions. All right, let's come right to the front row. Hold on, let's get a microphone there.
Tobias Wilborn, AL.com. KD, on that last play, what was the kind of plan? Was it to try to get you downhill to kind of see what would happen there?
Just try to get me downhill and make a play, and I kind of slipped on the end. So, they just called a timeout and drew up a good play and just didn't go in. And we, I live with that 9 day. He's still my teammate, so, that's all good.
Other questions for either of the student athletes? Let's go the way back in the middle.
This question's for KD. What did you think of Chris Moore's performance tonight? He's bleeding all over the place.
He a warrior. Everybody not going to get him around the country, It don't matter if he playing or he not playing, he going to have a way to affect the game. He kind of was the main reason that we started our energy off. He got on us pretty hard as a team without any coaches doing it. So, he kind of picked us up in a big way. And he got a couple steals and fouls and free throws. So, yeah, he came up major this game.
We got time for one more question for either of the student athletes. We'll take the last one right on the front.
Question for both. What goes through your mind when Allen hits that shot to give you the lead there? Just what's that emotion of all that stuff happening
Is
there?
that both players?
Yes, please.
KD?
Just kind of get a stop, everybody get on the same page and slow down and get a stop and not just be everywhere so they can come down and hit a shot. But, they came down and made a shot, a clutch one, so, we'll live with that one.
And Wendell?
Just get a stop.
All right, thank you. We'll excuse the student athletes. You can return to the locker room. And we'll continue on with questions for Coach Pearl. So raise your hand and we'll get a microphone to you. Let's start on the far left.
Coach Pearl, what did you feel about the effort that the guys came out with early to start both halves? Just didn't seem to be able to pull it together, specifically defensively.
Yeah, you guys, listen. What we talk about as far as their effort is concerned. Arkansas, it was ridiculous about their effort. Arkansas came out with great energy, played really well. Had nothing to do with our effort. You know what I mean? Arkansas jumped on us, played with great effort, energy. Had nothing to do with our lack of effort. Well, the guy just came out and give Arkansas the credit. Our kids did not start the first half or the second half well.
Okay, let's go to the back on the right. I think we have a couple of questions back there.
Hey, Bruce, what is this mindset and the mentality as you head into Selection Sunday, and there's no more tomorrows promised after this game? What's going through your mind when you address the team after this game?
Well, we talked to the guys about, where we'd be potentially seated and what it would look like. Talked about, what are we going to do tonight and tomorrow and traveling back, practicing on Saturday, find out where we're going Sunday. Talked about, where we're going to be somewhere between 8, 9, 10 would be my guess. What the first game would look like, what the second game potentially look like against the one or the two. So sort of just set the table for them a little bit and just tell them, look, there are 260-something teams that are done and aren't playing in this tournament. And Auburn is one of the teams that's playing for a national championship. So I told them, I was proud of them. They put themselves in that, in that position. So, we went through the things that we didn't do, the lack of physicality, Arkansas's athleticism, toughness, and where we got beat. And we got beat in those areas, not the effort. There were other things. There was, big guards, very physical, and we didn't match their physicality. So, but told him I was proud of them.
Okay, I think was there another question in the way back?
Hey, Coach, just really quick, Katie talked briefly about kind of this being the second year now that you guys have gone one and done in the tournament. For you personally, as a coach, when you watch your players, kind of, I guess, what are your emotions, or what do you feel as your players talk about kind of the heartbreak or the feeling of losing those games?
Arkansas played really well. So
Let's go to the center aisle.
Bruce, Katie had 13 points, I think, in like 3 minutes there in the second half. Really got that comeback going. Just dumb question, but how huge was he for you guys to make it?
KD is one of our most athletic players from a standpoint of speed, quickness, power, even though he's undersized. And so his athleticism showed up for Auburn in a big way out there on the floor. And, I thought Katie alluded to Chris Moore. You guys asked a question about how important Chris Moore is. A great question. He is important to us. And he lit into the bench a little bit there in the second half. And, I had called timeout to get us organized. And, we came out, we got a good look, and then we got a couple stops. And, again, we made 2 really good runs in both halves, including taking the lead late. And like the kid said, all we really needed was that stop at the end. And I thought we got fouled at the end. Also, KD took to the basket. He got fouled.
Is there a question on the aisle back here? There you
Bruce, some of the guys in the locker room talking about Arkansas's guards rebounding and how that was a big deal. I think Black and Debo combined for 16. I guess how much of a factor is that when they're kind of crashing from the perimeter to
Well, it's
rebound?
huge. They're good. They got 6'8". Black is a terrific player, and I think combination of giving him credit for crashing, but our guys didn't do good enough putting a body on him and keeping him off. I don't remember us getting called for a foul, checking him out. If that wasn't an issue, so we should have been more physical keeping him off the boards.
Okay, the question in the way back here in the middle, and then we'll come down to the front.
Bruce, I got 2 questions. First question, what's your favorite Chris Moore story?
I think the fact that he bleeds in games more than any player I've coached. Just blood on the floor, man. He's just a hard-playing dude and a great kid, great teammate. I tell you what, if you could, just sort of get a picture of Chris Moore and say that is Auburn basketball, that represents Auburn basketball, I'd be okay with that.
And the second question, Alabama's obviously been a big national story. What do you talk to your guys about guns? What do you tell them about guns?
Well, we talk about, as a basketball coach, we talk about lots of things, for them as student athletes, and that's our biggest job. Some of it's basketball, but some of it is just life in general. So we have, conversations about everything.
Okay, question in the front.
Bruce, when Flanagan gets that bucket, I know obviously get the stops, but then on your last possession, what happened there? What did you see there with KD coming down and then everything that transpired?
I'm not sure exactly what the sequence of things, but I think Al knocked a 3 down, gave us a 1-point lead. Maybe it was Smith or somebody came down, got a 2-point basket, we're down 1. I thought when KD came down the floor, he got fouled.
That was before the last possession.
Yeah, before the last possession. And then the last possession, what we did was, with 11 seconds maybe, I thought if I could get the ball to KD and get him down here really quickly, I'd take the 2. We'd take the 2. But they did a good job of kind of walling him off. And I knew I was going to call timeout to set up a 3-ball if I couldn't get the quick 2. And we didn't get a quick 2. And we got a good look.
I'm going to take 2 more questions. Let's go to the far left, and then we'll finish up in the middle aisle.
Hey, Coach Pearl, can you talk about the quality minutes? He was potentially injured coming into the game, but from Dylan Cardwell tonight.
I thought Dylan's second rotation was great. His first wasn't. He was tentative, but I thought his second rotation was really good. Again, I thought the bench, you look at the numbers of our bench, KD coming off the bench, Chris off the bench, Dylan off the bench, Trey, Leor, I thought they all did really well. Again, gave us a chance when you're playing 4 games in 4 days potentially. We just didn't take advantage of it.
Bruce, another game where you guys down big but come back, have a chance at the end. I mean, it's one and done from here on out. But what does that say about your team that you guys just keep swinging like this?
Yeah, man, they do. The lesser character teams would have quit, laid down, and this team just hasn't. I think they like each other, and I think they also are grateful for Auburn. Auburn once again shows up here in Nashville. I feel so badly about our fans, that fact that we're not going to get to play in front of them again for another couple of days. So I do feel badly about that. A lot of families are here. Went through a lot of expense to get here, so we're disappointed that we let them down. And our guys feel that way. We all do, because we're grateful for the support that we get. Arkansas, being a really, really good team, being a net 18, to catch them in the first round, and we played a. You got to beat good teams to win in postseason, and that's certainly as good a, as good a opponent as you're going to see.
Thank you.
Brought to you by Alabama Beef Farmers and Ranchers.